Morning guys, we've got a pretty risk-off scenario brewing on the markets. These are the futures, these are moving in real time. See China's down a lot, US tech's down a lot, and Europe as well. And the one that isn't doing too badly is Australia, but that's still negative, UK is still negative. What you need to bear in mind is that the retail guys are buying these dips on risk, and because they're normally wrong and counter trend, it indicates that the opposite should happen, and they shouldn't really be buying the S&P. They need to be conditioned to be in a state of fear, so they sell. If they sell it, price will come up to punish them, but if they're buying it, price is going to come down to punish them, and that's just the way it works. And it's always been the case since the public can trade Wall Street. Look at the Wall Street crash, for example. The general public went very long, and they bought lots of stocks, and that caused the imbalance, and then we had that massive crash. So they can't be conditioned to buy, they need to be wiped out. So this does need to fall. I was saying how that we had to break 4430, we certainly did. We didn't quite flush them out because what's happening is that they're going long. So even though it's falling, they're trying to buy, and so that's no good, right? So that it needs to keep falling for these guys to be disciplined, to be corrected, and so that they lose a lot of money, and then they get out, and then they reverse, and when they reverse, we'll come up, right? So that's the way it works. Okay, gonna have a little bit of a change on the technical analysis. We're gonna look at some pitchforks today, and in conjunction with the SLCs. UJ, we have the SLC below here. If it lets me load it. At 115, pretty much on the dot. One above is quite far, 116.40. Median line there at 115.43. That could be a resistance or a support, and we've got our daily range lows and daily range highs as well. So I wouldn't imagine that we exceed the weekly range, but we can possibly exceed the daily range. And of course, the context today is the Fed emergency meeting, where they might hike, or they might signal that March is going to be quite bullish, and they're going to be quite hawkish. So Bullard was talking about a 1% interest rate hike, which is, it just broke the algos. So bear in mind we're an ascending pitchfork, and the bullish ABCD. So that's I think we might remain in the pitchfork. Maybe keep an eye on 114.91. That's the daily range low and the pitchfork support. Okay. EU. Got a bearish harmonic up here. We've got descending shift channel and ascending main pitchfork. Maybe zoom in. There's your median line resistance or support at 113.51. As you see below is 113.25. One above is 113.70. Maybe look at some risky currencies would make sense. Let's look at AJ. So we've got a bearish harmonic, bearish shark. The pitchfork is ascending, the channel is ascending. So we can use this line here, and that's using right, so that's going to be a support, so yeah, maybe the daily range low might come to play like UJ. So, and then the SLC is close as well, so this could possibly be a good decent support. Technically we can bounce on the ADR low. We would have taken the stop loss cluster, and we've got the pitchfork support. So there's three things there that maybe we might bounce. Okay, that's that. Let's look at EJ. So weekly range high. You saw my video on Friday and Thursday. I was saying how this would have been a sell because we exceeded the weekly range high. Daily range highs and lows we can exceed, but the weekly range is a little bit unusual, and we definitely exceeded it a lot. So this was a big stop hunt. Okay, and so this is why I'm saying it wasn't a good idea to go long, because technically we had exceeded the weekly range high, and we've taken out a load of stop loss clusters as well, which you can see in those blue zones. EJ, one above is 131.40, one below is 130.29. We've got the median line resistance here at 131.67. So maybe look to buy it like down here, perhaps the weekly range low. It's 140 pips away, so I'd probably just watch, to be honest with you, today. I mean, this should fall. You know, the Euro USD's fallen, so it correlates quite well with EJ. And we'll look at the bubbles before I wrap up as well. So AU maybe, and then so AU, we've got a descending channel, if you see. So that because of them, we made a lower low, and that's how that's calculated. So you know, the channel is descending because we made a lower low. So technically, it's quite bearish because of that. And so we've got the resistance there, and that's how we make the channel. The SLC below is 71.05. The one above is 72 on the dot, roughly. Yeah. Perhaps we're coming down to get that. We might bounce at 70.90, which is your 38.2 support. Daily range low. I think what's going to happen today, we're going to exceed the ADR because it's going to jump around a lot and try and take out stops, and it desperately needs to take out stops on indices. So these guys cannot be buying, otherwise they're going to be taught a lesson. And because of that, I think probably what's going to happen is that the risky currencies are going to sell off and the dollar's going to outperform, which brings me to the bubbles. On the average bubbles, so we've got the Kiwi and the Aussie, they're a strong sell. USD, Swiss franc and yen are buy. Admittedly, we want the yen down a little bit below the 50%, but this tells us risk off today. This tells us risk off today. Euro and pound are like in the middle. So I think we're going to be pretty heavy. I don't know what the Fed's, what's going to be the outcome of the Fed. No one knows. It's an unknown quantity. No one can say it's priced in because no one knows. And that's just one of those things. You have to trade carefully. If just watching at all might be good, we might be a risk-on event after the Fed. And a no hike today could be bullish, right? So just be careful. And note that we're probably going to come down and probably wipe out these stops, and we might have technical supports on these ADR lows, so potentially, and then we can get these indicators from the starter pack as well. So this is the DWM indicator, which is quite useful, especially in the case of Euro Yen. You know, that netted me a lot of pips, and if you followed that advice on the technical channel, you would have done quite well as well. So that's that. So trade carefully. I'm going to be back tomorrow in the morning. I'm not going to trade at all today. And and also the signals, I'm going to activate them after the Federal Reserve meeting. I don't want to activate them now because by 4:30 they're going to be turned on their head, and it wouldn't be much sense. So I'll let you know when I've reawakened them, and then we'll see how we go.